Om Gati Gati Aragati Arasangati Bodhiswa Om Gati Gati Aragati Parasangati Bodhiswa Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhiswa Soge Shanamba Shanshu Padu Dani Kyatsuchi Dagi Jinsoge Personange Drola Benche Sange Drupasho Sange Chudam Soge Shanamba Shanshu Padu Dani Kyatsuchi Dagi Jinsoge Personange Drola Benche Sange Drupasho Sange Chudam Soge Shanamba Shanshu Padu Dani Kyatsuchi Dagi Jinsoge Personange Drola Benche Sange Drupasho. I go for refuge and turn my legend to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, my accumulations of practices, and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn my legend to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, my accumulations of practices, and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn my legend to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, my accumulations of practices, and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, any questions before we go any further? Any questions? Particularly questions from a group discussion which are not settled? Sophie?
Can you explain, we are talking about this, it seems it's more clear, but can you explain the difference between discrimination and perception?
Okay, this is a good question. Discrimination and perception. The perception has a connotation of the two things. Say, when you look at an object, there are two things happening. This morning we talked about interaction with the object and subject. So in what way the object interacts with the subject, in what way the subject interacts with the object. Object interacts with the subject in ways of the object appearing to the object. Appearing. That is the act of appearance is happening from the object. Or with respect to the object appears. Then what contributes to the subject, to the interaction between the subject and object? The subject, the apprehends object. Subject apprehends object. Object appears to the subject. These two actions are happening. So these two actions together, we call it perception. These two actions together, we call it perception. Whereas the discrimination is purely the action of the subject. The subject says, yes, this is flower, this is not flower, this house, not house, this is good, bad. This is the pure action of the subject. Perception has the dual. Object appears and the subject engages or subject apprehends. Discrimination is purely cognitive. Cognitive meaning, yes, this is flower, this is not flower. It's purely cognitive. Okay, any more questions? Yes.
And a follow-up, then the perception is not cognitive. The perception is not cognitive, but the discrimination is.
Okay, discrimination is purely cognitive. Perception has a mixture of all. Mixture, for example, object appears, it is not cognitive. Object appears, appearance of the object, but the subject engages with it, subject apprehends it, that is cognitive. So perception involves both. Okay, any more questions on emptiness, which we discussed this morning?
About perception, does it have to be non-conceptual?
Perception. Okay, this is the good question. Person, generally speaking, perception is more non-conceptual perception. So this is more the English. A conceptual mind, to say my thoughts perceive. You don't really English. This is not a good English. If they perceive is more the non-conceptual. Okay, this is more English. Okay, seems like you are now. Okay, ready? The next. Okay, what we discussed this morning was that By the way, during the group discussions yesterday, today, did we discuss about composite phenomena and non-composite phenomena? No? Okay, this is something which is very important. And just for information, finally, what we will learn is that what the Buddha taught, and which is the only hope for to be liberated from the fears, to be liberated from miseries, is the wisdom of emptiness. Wisdom of emptiness means that nothing exists objectively, that everything exists subjectively. This is the understanding. The moment you come to know that the dream is just coming from your subject, you are free. The dream is not real, it's coming from the subject, it's coming from your mind, then you are freed of the fears of the dream. The moment you see the dream as real, then the fear arises. This is the basic principle of how we can possibly be freed from the suffering of the samsara. Okay. With this, now going into the concept of emptiness. Going into the concept of emptiness, oftentimes there's a danger of falling into nihilism. It is given a very strong warning in the Buddhist texts that to teach emptiness, one should be extremely careful to make sure that the listeners don't fall into nihilism. This is a very strong warning given in many of the Buddhist texts. With this in mind, I realized, through my many years of teaching, I sense that that's very true. One. Then number two, I met with some professors who are professors of Buddhist philosophy, and even they tend to understand emptiness as nothingness, which means there was one professor who was extremely respected as a great Buddhist philosopher, Buddhist scholar, and when I actually met him, I could not really imagine that he would say like this. He said, in Buddhism there is no self. He said, in Buddhism there is no self. And of course there is self. The Buddha said that you are the master of yourself. Buddha said that you are the master of yourself. Who else is there as your master? The one who tames one's mind is the wise and will be liberated. This is what the Buddha said. This is what the Buddha said. You are the master of yourself. Who else is there as your master? The one who tames one's mind is the wise and will be liberated. This is what the Buddha said. So the self, of course, in Buddhism the self is there. The Buddhism is very rational. Buddhism is very realistic teaching, and it is not at all nihilistic. So the self is there. But the professor said, no, in Buddhism there's no self. Because in Buddhism talks about emptiness. Everything is empty. This is a total nihility. Okay, so they have a responsibility. We all have the responsibility to study emptiness. Without studying emptiness, no way by which we can expect to be liberated from samsara. Now, to study emptiness, there is a danger that one can fall into nihilism. So, how to save us from falling into the what is that? Falling into the chasm of nihilism? For that,
Dérive. Tomber dans le nihilisme, ça peut être une dérive. Voilà.
This is a fault, nihilism.
exactly. So, how not to fall into the chasm of nihilism? And for that matter, we have to understand on the two very important concepts. First, to understand these two concepts, we need to ask two questions. To see whether you are going into the proper track of emptiness or you are going the wrong track. You check with the, what's that in English? Like a yardstick or like the, what is that? The meter to test. No, like the
Level?
no. The meter to test the how much electricity to use, whether the electricity is working, not working.
Imperial research.
Imperial research. No, the machine.
If you have to check something,
To see if the machine is to see if the electricity, where the electricity is going wrong.
Yeah.
Is that like an ammeter?
Ah,
A meter, an ammeter?
okay. Okay, let's say ammeter. Okay, let's say ammeter, the detector. Okay, let's say detector. Not really detector. Okay, so let's say that to see whether you understand emptiness is going the correct direction or wrong direction. For that, we need to ask two questions. First question is, do things exist? This is question. Do things exist? The first question. If your answer is no, you fall into nihilism. Do things exist? What's the answer?
Yes.
Everything exists. If you say no, things don't exist, you fall into nihilism. This is far, far away from emptiness. By no means it is close to emptiness. Far away from emptiness. Only if you say yes to the first question, yes, things exist. Then this question is, do things exist objectively? This is the second question. Do things exist objectively? This is the second question. For that the answer is no. Okay, this is the only if you say no to the second question, then you are going the proper track of emptiness. With the first answer, yes to the first question and no to the second question, then you are going to the proper track. So when you say yes to the first question, you are saved from nihilism. When you say no to the second question, you are saved from absolutism. But the first question, do things exist? If you say yes, you are saved from nihilism, extreme of nihilism. Second question, do things exist objectively? When you say no, that saves you from falling into absolutism. So, this is very important. Okay, only if you are able to get it correctly, to the two questions correctly, then the next step is to see how things exist, how things don't exist objectively. How things do exist, but they don't exist objectively. To understand this, we need to understand emptiness in the light of dependent origination. To say things exist, but they don't exist objectively, for that, we should be able to understand emptiness in the light of dependent origination. That is, emptiness should not be understood as nothingness. Emptiness should be understood as dependent origination, number one. Number two, dependent origination is the meaning of the middle way. Dependent origination is the meaning of the middle way. Number two. Combining the 2 points, we get the understanding that emptiness is the middle way. Those people who are familiar with mathematics say A equals B, B equals to C, therefore A equals to C. Right? A equals B, B equals C, therefore A equals C. Can you say that? Likewise, the emptiness equals dependent origination. Dependent origination equals middle way. Therefore, emptiness is the middle way. You get it? Okay. For that we need to learn how to ask good questions. Learn how to ask good questions. Learn how to ask questions in a very precise way. We must acquire that skill. If you don't acquire that skill, to get to emptiness is very difficult. If you acquire these skills, to get emptiness is not that difficult. Okay, so what would be the next question? What I said is emptiness equals dependent origination, number one. Number two, dependent origination equals the middle way. So therefore, if these two you accept, then automatically emptiness equals dependent origination, the middle way. This is what I said. So what would be the next question? If you are to have a skill in asking questions, what question will you ask me?
How do emptiness and dependent origination interrelate?
Okay, so how can you say that emptiness equals dependent origination? Very good. This is one question. Question number two, how can you say that dependent origination is the middle way? Right? If you get these two well, then you don't ask me the third question. Third question, how emptiness is dependent the middle way, automatically you get the answer. But the first one, what's the first one?
How emptiness equal dependent origination.
Very good. How emptiness equals dependent origination. How can you say that emptiness is the meaning of dependent origination? Okay, for that we need to know 5 points. We need to know 5 points. Okay. In French, WHO, World Health Organization, what is the short form?
l'ONU, non, c'est l'OMS. OMS.
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 Okay.
Organisation.
No, it's fine. OMS. Okay, let's say. So this would be. Okay. Okay. What do you understand by the... Okay, what I said is that emptiness equals dependent origination. In other words, emptiness is emptiness means dependent origination. It is not nothingness. How to know this? We need to know 5 points. We need to know 5 points. For that matter, what we need to know is, for example, say when we say the who. What is who? What is who?
That's a subject?
Okay, who means who are you?
Yeah.
No, this is not what I'm asking. I'm asking World Health Organization. Right? So who are you? And World Health, short form of World Health Organization, both have the same spelling. Both have same spelling. Who, on the building, if it is written WHO, it doesn't mean who are you. It means World Health Organization. It is a short form of the World Health Organization. Likewise, 5 points. Point number 1, emptiness. Point number 2, emptiness is not nothingness. It is the point number 2. It is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Emptiness, number 1. Number 2, Emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 2. Number 3. Emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number 4. Nothing exists independently means, okay, now you tell me, everything exists by dependence. Amazing. Wonderful. Okay, so number 4, everything exists by dependence. Number 4. Number 5, therefore everything is dependently originated. Number 5, therefore everything is dependently originated. Okay, let me say this again. Number 1, emptiness. Emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 2. Number 3, emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number 3. Nothing exists independently means, number 4, everything exists by dependence. Number 4. Everything exists by dependence means, therefore, everything is dependently originated, dependently arising. From these 5 points, we learn that emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. Emptiness is the meaning of the middle way. Now, what is number 2?
Emptiness is a short form of dependent origination. Emptiness is a short form of dependent origination.
That is done. With 5 points, we did it. Right? That done. Emptiness to understood as to mean the dependent origination done. What's next? Very good. Okay, first one is emptiness means dependent origination. Number 1, that is done. Number 2, dependent origination means the middle way. A equals B, that is done. Now we are doing B equals C. A equals B, B equals C, therefore A equals C. Right? No, so now we are doing B equals C. What is B equals C? Dependent origination is the meaning of the middle way. Dependent origination is the middle way. So we're going to do that. Dependent origination is the middle way. Dependent origination has 2 sides. Dependence and origination. You agree with me? You agree with me?
Yeah.
Good. Dependent and origination. The first, dependent. When we say dependent, what's the opposite of dependent? Independent. When you say dependent, you reject independence. Independence and absolutism, these two mean the same. So when you say dependent, you reject the extreme of absolutism. When you say dependent, you reject independence, you reject absolutism. So you reject the extreme of absolutism. Number 2 is origination. When you say origination, you are saying something is originating. Something comes into origination. Something comes into origination means something comes into existence. What is the opposite of existence? No existence, nihilism. So when you say origination, it rejects the extreme of nihilism. Origination, it rejects the extreme of nihilism. Dependence, it rejects the extreme of absolutism. Origination, it rejects the extreme of nihilism. Now, the 2 things put together, dependent and origination put together, rejects the 2 extremes. Rejecting the 2 extremes is following the middle way. So therefore, dependent origination is the middle way. So now you got B equals C. From this, what can you deduce? A equals B. Now B equals C. So therefore, by default, A equals C. So therefore, emptiness means the middle way. Emptiness is not nihilism. So the Buddha's teaching of emptiness does not have any connotation that self does not exist, things don't exist, nothing exists. This is total nihilism. And many people, particularly studying in the universities, They try to make distinction between Aranagarjuna's philosophy with the Western philosophers' philosophy. They say that Aranagarjuna philosophy is, they call it idealism. This is a total naivety. They don't understand. They really don't understand what the Aranagarjuna philosophy is. So only if you understand, say the two answers to the two questions correctly. Do things exist? What's the answer? Yes. What's the second question? Do things exist objectively? Answer is no. Only if you're able to give the answer in this form, then there's a possibility for you to understand Aranagarjuna's philosophy or the Buddha's emptiness concept. With this, then you have to know how emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. Emptiness is the meaning of dependent origination. 1. Dependent origination is the meaning of the middle way. Therefore, emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. Emptiness is the middle way. This is what we have to know. So, for that, Aranagarjuna very clearly stated in his text, 292. What am I doing? What am I looking for? Huh? Yes.
Page 109.
109. 109. Okay, don't just tell me what am I looking for. I want it precise. It should be on the accuracy. What am I looking for is, okay, you tell me where it is. The stanza is on the, whatever is dependently originated is said to be emptiness. That being dependently designated, this is the middle way. This is the stanza that I'm looking for. Huh? 293. Okay, they are. It is. You'll find that in two different places. One is in the collection. Okay, it's a very different version. The version that we have, what we have is a different edition. It's not here. Okay, let me see. It should be here. Okay, so then now we can check it here the similar way. Progress collection. Okay. Okay, so easier would be to go, let's go to 206. 100, 122. 18. Huh? Stanza 18. Stanza 18. Stanza 18. Oh yes, thank you. Okay, give us on page 118. Page 118. Page. So what Tashila has and what we have is to a slightly different edition. Page 118, stanza 18. So that is from the. That is from the Aranagarjuna's classic text, Fundamentalism of Middle Way, chapter 24, stanza 18. Whatever is dependently arisen or dependently originated is a matter of translation. Whatever is dependently originated, that is explained to be emptiness. Emptiness doesn't mean nothingness, it means dependent origination or dependent arisen. That being dependently designation is itself the middle way. Okay, so from this stanza, let us go back to this stanza, page 118, stanza 18. Whatever is dependently arisen. So let's say dependent origination and emptiness. They are like the two sides of the same coin. Whatever is dependent origin, that is explained to emptiness, which means emptiness and dependent origination, these are two sides of the same coin. Seeing that these are the two sides of the same coin, when you see dependent origination, generally speaking, when you see dependent origination in general, even without going to detail, you can see that when you see dependent origination, you see that all conventional things can arise because of dependent origination. You can think about compassion. The virtues can grow on the basis of understanding dependent origination. By seeing emptiness, it rejects the independence. It rejects absolutism. By seeing dependent origination, it posits a functionality. It posits a functionality. Functionality is there. Then we say with emptiness, the other side emptiness, it rejects absolutism. Independent existence is rejected. With the dependent origination, it posits a functionality. It posits the nihilism. So dependent origination in general, emptiness, if you have to take these two, dependent origination rejects the nihilism, emptiness rejects the absolutism. So what's the benefit? This is so important. The benefit is when you see dependent origination, your virtues can grow. By seeing that your virtues, they're all compassion. They say, for example, your happiness is dependent on others. But it depends on others, your happiness originates. Dependent origination. So with this, we see that then automatically you feel close to them. You feel compassion towards them. Compassion, all the virtues grow by understanding dependent origination. When you see emptiness, the self-grasping ignorance is shattered. When self-grasping ignorance is shattered, all the negativities fall apart. All the destructive emotions dissolve. So, within your mind, we see that there's happiness, there's suffering. Happiness originates from virtues. Suffering originates from the negativities. Seeing emptiness, negativities will subside. Seeing the dependent origination, your virtues will grow. So virtues grow, and then it gives rise to infinite happiness. And seeing emptiness, your fears dissolve. Fears dissolve to zero. So this is the benefit of seeing dependent origination and emptiness. Now you go into detail within dependent origination. We see that again there are two sides, dependent and origination. Dependence, it rejects the extreme of absolutism. Origination, it rejects the extreme of nihilism. Again, it has the capacity to remove the two extremes and follow the middle way. Okay, this is very important. With this understanding of emptiness, we realize that it's a tremendously great positive potential. Say this understanding of emptiness serves as a tea strainer. What is tea strainer? Tea strainer. So the understanding of emptiness serves as a tea strainer. Tea strainer meaning, which means you have never prepared tea yourself. Yes. Okay, Jazz. Always asking your mother to prepare tea for you.
I thought it was a tea trainer. I was like, what are we training?
Strainer. Okay. So the tea strainer, what is the job of the tea strainer? Is to let flow the drinkable tea without obstruction and hold back the residual tea leaf which is not drinkable. Hold it back, stop it, and let the drinkable tea flow without obstruction. So the wisdom of emptiness, it does the job to let flow, let your virtues flow. Let your virtues grow without obstruction, and in fact, so productively, and let you hold back and subdue and suppress and get rid of the negative thoughts, destructive thoughts. that the positive thoughts grow and the negative thoughts diminish. This is the job of the wisdom of emptiness. Okay. Now, what we talked about this morning was that about the water. I said, what is this? What am I doing? You said you are drinking water. And the physicist will say that you are drinking electrons, protons, neutrons. Likewise, when you look at the other person, in the natural form, you smiled. When you look at the same object, which otherwise made you smile earlier. When you look at the same object in different way, in the form of a bunch of atoms, it doesn't make you smile. Okay, so what made you smile earlier? Why? How? The same object doesn't make you smile in the second case. Because you are perceiving the same object in two different ways. You getting it? Okay, don't forget it. Now, say when you are at a distance, you see the forest. From distance you see the forest, and when you go into the forest, you will see the individual trees, you will not see the forest. You understand? If you want to enjoy the forest, if you want to enjoy what the forest looks like, you stay away from the forest. Then you will see the forest. When you go into the forest, you will see the individual trees, you will not see the forest. Likewise, water. If you want to enjoy the water, stay distant. Don't go into the atoms. The moment you go into the atoms, you will never find the water. You getting it? Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
The moment you go into the atoms, you will never find it. You will never ever find the water. If you want to enjoy water, stay away from the water. From distance, you look at it. Okay. How many of you have seen rainbow in your life? How many of you have never seen rainbow in your life? Okay, we all have seen rainbow in your life. Okay, Venerable Elizabeth, I may ask you, the rainbows happen here? Where, which direction?
Behind the main building.
Okay, behind the main building, let's say. Okay, yes. This is the main building. Okay, so let's say we are seeing rainbow 1 kilometer away from the main building. Okay, and then a young child, age 5, is also sitting with you. And the young child will ask you, please take me there. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are seeing a rainbow, very beautiful rainbow, 1 kilometer away from your place, from this place. And a young child, age 5 years old child is with you. And the child also sees the rainbow, and the child will tell you, please take me there. Will you take the child there? If you take the child there, you are also a small child. Why the child wants you to take him or her there? Why? Why? Because, yes, they want to touch it. They think that the closer, when can you touch the rainbow? Only if you are close to the rainbow. They want to touch it. They think that it's really there. Closer you go to the object, they think that it's really there. I want to touch it. So the elders will not take the child there. If the elders take the child there, elders are also small child. Right? Okay. So now the question to you: rainbow, does it exist or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Huh? Does it? It exists. Where does it exist? Huh? In your mind. So everybody should come to look at your mind. Because everybody wants to enjoy the rainbow. They'll come to enjoy your mind, if it is in your mind. Where is it?
It's a reflection.
Huh?
It's a reflection.
I didn't say whether it's reflection or not. My question is, where is it?
Over there.
Huh?
Over there.
Over there. Over there. Go there. If it is there, go there. Right? Then the child is right. And then to them we realize a small child. Over there. Yes, Mark?
You could make a photograph.
Yes. That's true. This is not my question. My question is not whether it exists. This is not my question. The first question is already answered. When I said, does it exist? Everybody said yes. Then I asked the second question. The second question, that is?
Where?
Where does it exist? If it exists, where does it exist? This is my question. There's some say it is in my mind. Huh? Okay, in your eyes. Okay, we'll all go to Odie's eyes. To enjoy the rainbow, let's go to Odie's eyes. Right? Because it is in Odie's eyes. Where is it? This is very complicated. Where is it? Right? If it is there, there's a problem. Then you become a small child. If it is in your mind, then everybody should come to see your mind. If it's in your Odie's eyes, everybody has to go to see the Odie's eyes. Old's eyes, right? Where is it? This question.
Mere definition.
Huh?
It's mere definition.
Mere designation is not there.
Just the objective is not there. Just subjectively is there.
Okay. So what Rashida is saying is that it's subjectively there. Where?
Like
It's like
appearance. The appearance is there. When you analyze, then you can find the object.
Okay, yes, Rashida is saying something. It exists, but the power of your the mental the projection, it is there. It is there, but the what did you say? It is there.
Like appearance wise is there.
But the moment you analyze like this, you will never find it. Okay. Yes.
It's in the sky.
Oh, it's in the sky. This is good. Fine. Then we go into the sky. We go to the sky, then we will find it, right? We go to the aeroplane, you'll find it. No? You did not find it.
No, but
Oh.
it's you can see it from close, but you can see it from far.
Okay, you cannot see it from close, you can see it from far. That's true. Which means, where does it exist? In the sky. So in the sky you go there, you can grab it.
No, but I found the bubbles that make it.
The bubbles are not the
So
rainbow, right?
water from
Water bubbles, vapors, the water vapors, the tiny water particles.
Yes.
This is not the rainbow, right? This is not the rainbow. These water bubbles, they are not beautiful. Okay,
With
Jane.
the light. It depends on bubbles and light.
That's true. How does it arise? By dependence on the light, water bubbles, not really bubbles, the water vapors, particles, and distance, all these many factors. But my question is not how does it arise. My question is where is it? Yes, Jane.
Il est dans la relation entre moi et ma capacité à percevoir le phénomène et le phénomène décrit justement par l'imaginaire.
So it is in the relationship between my ability. Because I don't hear.
Yes.
Between my ability to perceive that and the object.
C'est le phénomène.
And the phenomenon itself.
Okay, it's a relationship between my ability to see it and the object. Is this what you're saying? Okay, so which means that it's not 100% from the object. It's not 100% from the object. Very good. Okay, one. This is one thing. Okay, now tell me. What is this?
Flower.
What flower?
Orange flower.
Orange flower. What is this? Hey, what is this?
A hand.
Someone's scared, he must be holding something. Okay, nothing is there. Okay, this is orange flower. Orange flower. There's nothing here. Just imagine a blue flower. Imagine a blue flower. Okay, what is here? What is my right hand? Orange flower. What is my left hand? Huh?
A blue flower.
Oh, there's a blue flower there. There's a blue flower.
It's there.
No, blue flower is there.
Blue flower.
I'm just saying blue flower. I didn't say any blue flower. Huh?
You said imagine.
Oh, I did not say there's a blue flower. I just said imagine blue flower. So you have to say imaginary blue flower. Don't say blue flower.
So we can imagine.
Yes. So what you have to say, your answer should not be blue flower. Your answer should be imaginary blue flower. You getting it? Okay, now tell me, what is my right hand? What is my left hand? Very good. Don't say blue flower, right? Because people who are watching the recording, they may say that he's holding blue flower. Why am I saying blue flower? Okay, now tell me. What is the difference between these two things? Speak your mind. Don't speak the philosophy, right? And speak your mind. What comes to your mind naturally? What's the difference between these two flowers? The orange flower in my right hand and the imaginary blue flower in my left hand. What's the difference? Tashila?
One has a substance, the natural flower doesn't have a substance.
The orange flower in my right hand has a substance there as a flower, and the imaginary blue flower does not have a substance. Very good. The Virginia 18.
Pour voir la fleur orange, j'utilise mes yeux, ma conscience visuelle, et pour la fleur bleue, j'utilise ma conscience mentale. Donc pour la fleur orange, j'utilise mes yeux, donc ma conscience visuelle, et pour la fleur bleue, c'est ma conscience mentale.
So, for the orange flower, I use my eye consciousness, but for the imaginary blue flower, I use my imagination, my mental consciousness.
Very good. For the orange flower, Virginia uses her eye consciousness to see it. For the imagined blue flower, she has to use the mental consciousness, not the eye consciousness. Very good. Any more answers? Any more answers?
It's easier to see the orange flower than the blue one.
Say it again. Oh, it's easier to see the orange flower than the
Blue one.
the.
I really have to put effort in seeing.
You have to see the. You have to put effort to see the blue flower.
Yeah.
Okay, how many you put effort and you see the blue flower now? Huh? You seeing blue flower? Jane is seeing blue flower. Huh? However much you may put effort, you will never see the blue flower. If you see blue flower, you are hallucinating. Right? There's no blue flower there. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? What's the difference between these two things? Tell me. Speak your mind. Yes, Laura?
I like the orange flower, but I don't like the blue flower. It's just my imagination.
Okay, you like this orange flower, you don't like the blue flower. You like the imagined blue flower.
I don't like the imaginary blue flower, but I like the real orange.
Very good. You like the real flower, you don't like the imaginary blue flower. Very good. Daniela?
Orange flower objectively real, and imaginary blue flower unreal.
Okay, very good. Very good. Did you all understand? Did you all follow what Daniela said? That the orange flower exists from the object, is there. When you go to the object, you find it. The imagined blue flower you not find from the object, it's just from the subject. Very good. Maria? Maria Tenzin, right?
La fleur
Maria Tenzin. Yes, Maria Tenzin, Maria Ramon. Yes, Maria Tenzin.
La fleur orange, je peux l'utiliser en tant que fonction pour orner votre bureau, tandis que la fleur imaginaire, c'est juste dans l'imagination, je ne peux rien faire avec, que l'imagination.
orange flower I can use to adorn your table, but the imaginary blue flower cannot do anything with that.
Il n'a pas de fonction.
Very good.
n'a pas de fonction.
Okay, the orange flower can be used
Yes.
to adorn, to decorate things, decorate the table, but imagine the blue flower, we cannot use that for decorating. Okay, the Maria Ramon?
Oui.
Maria or Mary?
Marie.
Marie.
Marie-Christine.
Marie-Christine, yes. Marie-Christine.
La fleur bleue est partagée même un peu différemment par le rond ici présent, la fleur rouge, pardon, et la fleur bleue est dans notre mental, donc elle est très individuelle et finalement on a peut-être autant de fleurs bleues ici que de personnes différentes.
The orange flower is more common for everyone here in the place. But the imaginary blue flower is more something individual.
Okay, that's very good. The orange flower is commonly perceptible to everybody, and whereas the imaginary blue flower is individual. How you imagine that of an individual, right? I may imagine the blue flower with 100 petals. Some people may imagine that with the 8 petals. It's not common there, whereas this orange flower is commonly there. Okay, maybe the last shot.
La fleur orange existe, mais en origine dépendante, tandis que la fleur n'existe pas du tout. Aucune existence.
So the orange flower exists dependently, but the blue imaginary flower doesn't exist at all.
Okay, imaginary blue flower does not exist?
Non existe.
Okay. Okay, this is a complicated point raised by Sharp. Imaginary blue flower, does it exist or not?
No. Under your mind.
Dream exists or not? Dream ghost exists or not? Dream ghost exists or not?
No.
Okay, dream ghost exists, raise your hands. Dream ghost exists. Oh, dream ghost does not exist, raise your hands. Dream ghost does not exist. 1, 2. Anyone? Dream ghost does not exist. Sharp? Dream ghost exists? Dream, okay, Sharp, you have to use your mic. You have to put your headphone. Oh, yes.
Il existe. Il existe, c'est une fabrication mentale, mais il n'existe pas par lui-même.
It is a mental fabrication, but it doesn't exist by itself.
Okay, my question is, I did not ask you whether it exists by itself or it exists mental fabrication. This is not my question, whether it exists.
Il existe sans exister.
It exists without existing.
Sophie, what did you say?
I'm confused.
Huh?
I'm confused.
Okay, dream ghost, does it exist or not?
First I would say no, but after listening everybody I have doubt.
No, don't listen to this. Right? Just speak your mind. Right from the beginning, I said speak your mind. Right? Don't be influenced by others. Speak your mind. Dream ghost exists or not? No, it doesn't exist. Martin?
Dream ghosts exist for me, not for the other.
Okay, I did not ask whether it exists for you or not. My question is whether it exists.
For me, it exists, but I can't change.
Okay, that's good. Which means for you, if something exists, should it exist or not?
Yeah.
Good, which means it exists. Okay, so the dream ghost, do you agree with me that the dream ghost does not exist as a real ghost? Do you agree with me or not?
Yes.
Although the dream ghost does not exist as a real ghost, but it does exist as a dream ghost. You agree with me or not?
Yes.
So the dream ghost exists as a dream ghost. You exist or not? You agree with me or not? Okay. So the dream ghost, now, do you agree with me what Daniela said? That this orange flower exists from the object in a loose sense. In a loose sense, it exists from the object. Imaginary blue flower exists from this subject. You agree with her or not? In a loose sense. If you have no exposure to philosophy, and still if this concept is introduced, that this flower, Daniela said that this flower exists from the object, imaginary blue flower exists from the subject, not from the object. Do you agree with her or not?
Yes.
Okay, tell me, if this is how you understand it, dream, say you are not exposed to philosophy at all. Dream, it exists objectively or subjectively? Subjectively, because it's coming from the mind, not from the object. Okay, then let's say, the dream is coming, mirage. Mirage exists objectively or subjectively? Okay, let's say subjectively raise hands. Objectively raise hands. Mirage exists objectively.
We don't see them objectively. But it's a bit like a rainbow, right? Like there's a reflection of something and that you see.
With the yes, so with the mirage, you see the mirage as water, right? You see the mirage as water.
Yeah, water is not there.
Water is not there. So what you see as mirage is what you see as water is completely from the subject, purely subjective. Okay. Now we are getting very close. We are introduced to what is known as objective existence, subjective existence. What a dream is, subjective or objective? Hey, dream objective, subjective. Subjective, very good. Dream is purely subjective. Okay, if you agree with this, then the Buddha said that everything is like a dream. Everything is like a dream. So in other words, dream, there are two. Conventional dream and the unconventional dream. Conventional dream and the unconventional dream. The dream from which we wake up every day, that is the conventional dream. We know that it is not real. When we wake up, we know that it is not real. But there's unconventional dream. What is that? Everything else that exists in this universe, they are all like unconventional dream. They are all unconventional dream, which means that they are all projected. Just as a dream is projected by a mind, you said that the dream exists subjectively, meaning that the dream is projection of your own mind. Likewise, everything else is projection of our own mind. Likewise, everything else is projection by a mind. Okay, you look at this flower. Do you see this flower as projection of your mind? How does this flower appear to you? Do you see this flower as projection of your mind?
By itself.
My question is, be very precise. My question is, do you see this flower as objective, as projection of your mind?
No.
Just say no, don't add any more words. Just say no. Right? So when you say no means, your mind is projecting it. This morning we learned 3 points. Dream, your mind projects the dream, number 1. Number 2, you're unaware that you're projecting it. Number 3, you believe that it is true. You getting it? 1, you project a dream. Number 2, you're unaware that you're projecting it. Number 3, therefore you believe that it is true. Likewise, this flower, actually, it is a projection of our own mind. Our mind is projecting this flower. Yet, we are not aware that we don't see that as projection of mind. We are not aware that we're projecting it, number 2. Number 3, therefore, we believe it to be objectively real. You getting it? But let us not forget this. What is number 1? We project this flower by a mind. Like the dream is projected by a mind, number 1. What's number 2? We are unaware that we are projecting it, number 2. What is number 3? Therefore, we see it as objectively real. We believe that it is objectively real. That is the self-grasping ignorance. This is the ignorance which believes things to be objectively real. This is ignorance. Okay, now, what next question do you have? What next question do you have? Huh?
How can I wake up?
Huh?
How can I wake up?
How can I be convinced that, in the first place, that this flower is projected by my mind? How can I know that my mind is projecting it? How can I know that it is my mind which projects it? This question. You getting it? Okay. For that matter, what do we need to learn? Okay, for that matter, what we need to learn is the fact that we know is that this water, what we see is water. What we see is water. Oh, there's water there. When you go into the atomic level, you will never find the water. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes.
Water means for the tiniest of the water, the tiniest of the water molecule, there must be the combination of the three atoms. Two hydrogen, and one oxygen. The moment you go into the atomic level, this molecule concept dissolves. When you go into the atoms, molecule concept dissolves. The moment the molecule concept dissolves, you will never find the molecule. You will never find water. Water is a molecule. Minimum, the smallest size will be water is a molecule. When the molecule is not seen, the water is not seen. So you will never find water the moment you go into the atomic level. My question to you: is the water existent? Yes. If the water is existent, where is the water? Which atom is the water? Which atom is the water?
Conventional.
Which atom is the water? Which atom is the water? Tell me. Which atom is the water?
All of them.
Collection. Collection of times water. Do you see the collection? You see the collection. If the collection is water, right? If the collection is water, then you should be able to see the water, but you are not seeing the water at all there. Right? You just see the collection of the atoms. And none of the atoms need the water. Where's the water? This question.
Conventionally, ultimately, you can only see the atoms. But conventionally, you can see the water.
Okay, so what Tashila says, conventionally we see the water, but when you go deeper, then you don't see the water.
Yes.
Ultimately, you don't see the water. Okay, you're saying,
Yes.
where's the water then? Where's the water?
Il n'y a pas d'eau.
Huh?
Il n'y a pas d'eau. Il n'y a pas d'eau.
There is no water.
Il n'y a
There's
pas
no
d'eau.
water. Okay, which means that the answer to the first question, two things exist. Two questions. The first one, two things exist. Maria said no. Then Maria wasn't nice.
Mais, non, mais ce n'est pas ça. On a enlevé les atomes. Les atomes.
It exists as a label.
Okay, it exists as a label.
Que
Okay, label is a word, right? So the water is a word.
No, it exists.
What is not a water? As a water, okay, so the water exists as a label.
Yes.
Water exists as a word. Label is a word.
It's a designation that exists.
Designation. Where is it? Which atom is the designation?
So it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Then you fall in nihilism.
Just intuition.
Okay, Sophie.
It exists because I can drink it, I can do something, I can clean with it. It functions, so it exists. Because I can use it, so it exists.
But okay, but you see, it's just a bunch of atoms, right?
Yeah.
What you see is just illusion.
It's not only an illusion.
Yes, of course, but it's just atoms. None of atoms drink. You can drink the atoms.
It can function.
Huh?
It can function. I can
This
use
is
it.
illusion, right? What you see as a function is illusion. Okay, Shark.
L'eau existe sous différentes formes, mais surtout en potentialité. C'est-à-dire quand il y a des causes conditions sous nuages, il apparaît sous forme nuage ou sorte de glace, sous forme eau, mais il a une potentialité qu'on ne voit pas. Mais,
water can have different forms, and it depends on the different cause and conditions. Like we can have the clouds, we can have different conditions, and it's a potentiality.
I agree with Shark. I agree with Shark on the macro level. I agree with Shark with the macro level, meaning that water can take different forms like vapor, ice, liquid, gas, and so forth. This is not the point. The point we go more subtler than that. Because even the ice, still it has the H2O molecule. Vapor, still there's H2O molecule. Now we have gone beyond that. We have gone into the atoms. On the atoms, the molecules dissolve. There is no molecules there. So there is no water there. Where is the water? That's my question. Okay. Yes, Tajila? Oh, so Tashila is saying that we have to apply this stanza which we learned this morning. Right? Whatever is dependent originated is said to be emptiness, which means that this water comes into existence by dependent origination. So it exists just on that level, conventional level. If you go deeper, you will never find it. You getting it? Okay,
it looks like objectively there is these atoms, and on that basis subjectively we see it as water.
Oh, the subjectively we see it as water, so therefore this illusion? No, there's water there.
But, we see atoms.
Yeah, so therefore the water is not really there.
Not really.
Okay, so water is not there.
It's there.
Wait, what is there is just atoms, not atoms water. Okay, look, this is how will you find it? Say a little bit of uneasiness inside. We cannot give the answer. You cannot say yes, there's no water. You cannot say there's no water there. Or if you give the answer, you cannot find it. How many you find it a little disturbing inside which hands? A little disturbing. If this little disturbance, mental disturbance comes, which means that your self-grasping ignorance is challenged. Right? Why this disturbance comes is that your self-grasping ignorance believes the water to be existent objectively. Now this question is challenging the objective existence of the water. Objectively, you don't find the water there. At the most, you can see the atoms. None of the atoms is the water. So with this, you see that that's true. But the self-grasping ignorance of the water, that the water should exist so objectively there, this was what we very strongly adhere or believe in. That is challenged. That is challenged. So there's a combat happening. Combat between the self-grasping ignorance and the new understanding you are coming now, seeing that the water does not exist objectively. There's a clash. This clash manifests in the form of uneasiness in your mind. Sometimes it may give rise to a feeling of nausea. Literally, you can feel the nausea. Nausea meaning? You feel like very uneasy feeling comes and you just feel like the same, no energy drain. You can feel it. Literally, you can feel it because there is a conflict happening in your mind. So between the self-grasping ignorance, believing that the water, everything is so objectively there, versus the new knowledge that you are learning now, that things don't exist objectively. You getting it? Okay. So with this, do you agree with me that if you want to enjoy this as water, don't go into the atoms. You get it with me? If you want to enjoy this water, then stay away from the atoms, look from distance. If you want to enjoy the rainbow, don't go too close towards the rainbow. Enjoy from distance. Do you agree with me? Okay. That which means enjoy from the distance means it's not purely object. It depends on the subject. Subject at a distance, subject. So therefore it is dependent on the subject. The water is dependent on the subject. Atoms is also dependent. As you see atoms, you have to go closer. You getting it? To see this water, you have to stay away from it. So it depends on the subject. Okay. Subject there are two. For example, let's say if I were to know the Tuten Zosanga, if I were to know Tuten Zosanga, right? I get information from, for example, say the Tuten Quintela about Tuten Zosanga. I get information. There are two sources of information. Tuten Quintela, who knows Zosanga just very briefly, few days or few weeks. And then Zosanga's mother, who knows her for the last how many years old?
30.
Huh? 30. Or for the last 30 years, Zosanga's mother knows Zosanga. Okay, whose information is closer to the reality? Zosanga's mother's information about Zosanga, or somebody else like me or Quintana's the information about Zosanga? Which is closer towards closer towards the reality?
His mother's.
Huh?
His mother's?
His mother, because his mother knows Zosanga more closely. Do you agree with me? Huh? More closely meaning the object of flower, I know the flower more closely, meaning I know the object very closer to its object. More closely. Okay, say when you see the flower through distance, you look at this object through distance, you see it's a flower. And through electron microscope, you see there's a bunch of atoms. Which of the two see the object more closely? Your naked eyes or the electron microscope? Which of the two sees the flower more closely?
Microscope.
Huh?
Microscope.
Microscope?
Microscope, il voit plus rapproché parce que lui, il voit jusqu'aux atomes que moi, je le vois grossièrement. Parce que
The microscope sees the
flower more closely.
My eyes just
from distance. Okay, very good. So, look at this flower very clearly. Look at this flower. How does this flower appear to you? This flower appear to you? This flower appears as objectively real or as subjectively real? How does this flower appear to you? Objectively real. You're getting it? Objectively real means that the flower exists from the object. This is how it appears. This is how it appears. Now, what we learn is that we can see this object as a flower only from distance. If you keep a distance only, then we see it as a flower. If you go too close with the electron microscope, the flower disappears. You agree with me? Mm-hmm. Okay. Which of the two perceptions is closer to the object? Electron microscope or your naked eyes? Huh? Microscope, very good. Microscope, what it sees is closer towards the reality of the object. Our naked eyes, what it sees is further away from further away from the object. So now look, there are two different perceptions, and you said that both are correct. Our naked eye sees a flower is correct. Electron microscope sees that there's no flower, it's just a bunch of atoms. It's also correct. Do you agree with me? There are two different perceptions. One from close perception, one from distance perception. The two perceptions, one from distance perception is known as conventional analysis. One from close analysis or close inspection is known as ultimate analysis. You getting it? You getting it? Okay. Say the same object, you look at, you use two different perceptions. One your naked eyes, one electron microscope. And my question to you is, which of the two is closer to the object? You said electron microscope. So what we say is that one which your naked eyes is the metaphor for there are two different perceptions taking place. One which is very close perception, one is from distance. One from distance is known as conventional analysis. One from close inspection is known as ultimate analysis. So, for example, if somebody describes Dzogsanla, or if somebody describes the flower, me describing the flower, and the gardener of orchid flower describes the flower, whose explanation is more ultimate. I have no exposure to the flowers, right? So I explain about orchid flower, how it is planted and so forth. And the gardener who actually plants the orchid flower for the last 50 years, whose explanation is the ultimate? Mine one or the gardener's? Gardener's one is one's ultimate explanation. Ultimate. So one which is closer is known as ultimate. One which is further away is known as conventional as opposed to ultimate. Ultimate versus conventional. Objective versus subjective. True versus false or deceptive. You're getting it? True existence versus deceptive existence. Objective existence versus subjective existence. Ultimate existence versus conventional existence. Okay, so the analysis or the perception which is taking place very closely is known as ultimate analysis. Perception taking place from distance is known as conventional analysis. You getting it? And you may be wondering why this word conventional is added here, right? Why this word convention is added? So what you say? Let's see, what's the meaning of this conventional? From distance is fine. Distance analysis is fine. But he added another word, conventional analysis. Why this word convention is added? Okay, this we'll do the next time. Okay, Jane, yes.
L'intersubjectivité.
Intersubjectivity. Okay, what is intersubjectivity? This is the first time I'm hearing.
Le fait que on soit plusieurs sujets à pouvoir nommer cet objet comme on le fait.
The fact that there are many different kinds of subjects able to name a flower.
C'est ça l'intersubjectivité.
Ce serait ça, that would be the intersubjectivity.
Okay, intersubjectivity, you mean that the collective subjectivity? Yeah. Collective subjectivity? So people collectively see something as a flower, we give a common label, this flower. Is what I'm saying? That is known as convention. Conventional analysis. You getting it? So now this afternoon we're going to explore what exactly is conventional analysis, what exactly is ultimate analysis. You getting it? This is what we're going to explore this afternoon. Yes?
Conventional means it's shared.
Okay, conventional means something is shared among the... Okay, so this we will explore later. Okay, we see whether what Martin said, right, is a part of this understandable. The answer is yes, I agree with you, but we will study more this afternoon.
Samyati Bodhisvapyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamyati Bodhisvapyata Om Gati Gati